Hey guys! So, I am going to be doing a voiceover over this vent art that I did last night at like 4 a.m. I don't know why I decided to record it. I don't really like... Actually, that's a lie. I do like to record my vent art just because I usually let loose for vent art. But the thing is, I try not to talk about what's bothering me just because I feel like such a bummer, I guess, or I feel like I know when a lot of people talk about their issues, a lot of people label them as attention seekers. And although I do love attention and I constantly seek it, I don't like to be called out for it. And usually when I do record my vent art, I'll try to get away with doing something, a voiceover unrelated to it, such as, you know that one picture of Jules? I think I made the voiceover about things artists shouldn't believe. It might be that one. But it's the Smash or Pass Jules picture, if any of you guys remember that one. That was a vent art. It had nothing to do with being an artist. It was just about me. I mean, you can see in the picture, I don't know if it's in the video, but in the finished picture on Twitter and Instagram, it says in the background, "You're disposable." Therefore, that should be a giveaway that I was not, in the best of places. But I'm rambling, so I decided this time I'm not gonna make up a random subject for this video. I'm gonna be talking about why I drew this picture, I guess. So it's gonna be a real talk, I think. Sorry to those who don't really like to listen to this kind of stuff, but I just thought, I know I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of people feel similar feelings or feel the exact same way. I don't know. I thought maybe this would be good to let you guys know that you're not alone and that people that put themselves out on the internet also have things like this. We are actually people, by the way. I feel like a lot of people forget that. Anyways, I'm rambling. So, I guess there's one main issue that I've kind of been going through recently. And it's been happening ever since, as long as I can remember, but it wasn't as bad when I was a kid. So, when I was a kid, baby Leslie, I used to have this thing where I am super paranoid about the people that I love getting hurt or dying. For me, if I found out, hey, if the Lord Jesus was like, "Hey Leslie, you're gonna die tomorrow, so yeah, that's a thing," I'd be like, okay, well that's a bummer, but whatever, take me, whatever. But if the Lord Jesus was like, "Hey, this person that you love is gonna die," I would freaking lose my mind. I would rather, actually it's not even low-key, I high-key hope that I die before all of the people that I love die. I do not want to go through that. It's the thing that it's my number one fear, pretty much, besides aliens. But that's a whole different topic, okay? And so everybody who knows me knows this, because I am constantly telling people, man, I hope I die before you, because I don't want to live through that trauma. So, anyways, when I was a kid, I would be paranoid a lot about people like that, right? And my mom, when she works from home now, which is really great. But before, when she wouldn't work from home, she would come home at the same time pretty much every night. Maybe a minute or so different, but pretty much the same exact thing. I would learn what time she would come home, what time she would be at the gym or whatever. So if she was a couple minutes late, over 5 minutes late, I would freak out. I would immediately start overthinking, and I would play scenarios in my head where she got in a car accident and she died. They would never get injured, they would always just straight up die, and I would cry, and it was really bad. And then when I do see her car parked, it's just, I'm like, oh, it's all good, and then of course it'd be kind of over, I guess. But I've been doing that since I was a kid. It would happen recently, I think, because my mom is also the kind of person who responds pretty much right away to text messages if she can. But sometimes she's in a situation where she can't respond, and when she doesn't respond, again, I would freak out, and I think, oh my god, she's dead, blah blah. I would jump to conclusions. And I do this with other people, not just my mom, by the way. I would do this with all my friends and Veronica. There have been multiple occasions where I thought she was dead. Just this week, I thought she was dead because like last night I was freaking out because she's not in the country right now. She's in Mexico, and she's also, Veronica's like the best texter I know. You text her and she'll respond like immediately, and I really appreciate that because I myself am a horrible texter, and I will take hours, if not days, to respond. I know that's a thing I have to work on, but she's very good at responding, and we've been talking every day since she left to go visit whatever, and she stopped responding for like a whole day, and which is really weird. And I was like, oh my god, I hope she's okay. But I was like, no, it's a day, like she's probably busy. And then another day passed where there was nothing on Instagram. It's over Instagram, and I was like, oh my god. And then the next day, and I that's when I was like, oh my god, like I go as far as to looking up my friends' names on Google to be like, maybe they died or whatever. And then this isn't the first time it happened, by the way. One time where she went to visit, she told me the day she was leaving, but I completely forgot about it. I don't know how. I guess I'm not a good friend. And I texted her, and she didn't respond because, of course, right, she was in another country. And I was like, oh my god, like, what's happening? Oh, she's dead. Like, oh my god, like, okay, if she's dead, like, is anybody gonna tell me? Like, is her family gonna tell me, like, hey, your best friend is dead? Like, do they even have my number? How are they gonna contact me? How is the funeral gonna be? Like, I was planning all of that in my head just within an hour, and it's just been so bad. And now it's just been way worse because now I'm dating somebody, and ever since that, it's like an every other night occurrence. And it's so exhausting for like every single night for the past months. It's been months where I cry because I start thinking like, oh my god, this person hasn't texted back in a while. I try not to be like that because I'm not some kind of, I mean, I am pretty clingy, but I try not to show it because not everyone can text back right away. I mean, people get busy, people have work, people have families. I mean, I hate people. I don't hate people. Okay. I really dislike it when I don't text back right away and then people complain to me about not texting back right away. Because I'm probably doing something or I'm not in the mood to text back, you know? So I don't like to complain to people unless I'm teasing them, but that's a whole different thing, okay? So I'm not gonna be like, hey, why aren't you responding right away? I wanna give people their space. But at the same time, when it takes like hours, I'm like, oh my god, this person died. They went into a car accident. I start like, my heart is just racing. I start picturing their death and their funeral, and then I'm like, how am I gonna get through this? And I start crying, and it's really bad. It happens every other night now. And that's just the biggest thing that I've kind of been going through recently, just being paranoid. And it's just really exhausting. I know that sounds really stupid. A lot of people probably think this is really stupid. I'm just being paranoid, and you're probably right. It's probably not that big of a deal. But I am hoping, I don't know what, I have a lot of little things like that. I mean, this is the biggest thing, but I have a lot of little things that just freak me out big time, and I have something, I don't know. By the way, I'm not making this video for people to like diagnose me or anything. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I definitely cannot be the only person that's like this. There's no way. So I overthink everything pretty much, but that's the one thing I overthink, people just dying. It's actually funny because like I said, I've had this for a long time. I remember telling you guys a story, like I don't even remember which video. It might be the mom friend video. I don't know. But I remember I did tell a story where my coworker told me, hey, I start work at like 7 tomorrow or whatever, or like 2, and I was like, cool, I'll see you then. And I think it was at 2, and then 2 passes and they're not at work, and immediately like 5 minutes after 2, it's like 2:05, I started freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh, they got into a car accident while they're on their way to work, they're dead, who's gonna find out, how are the boss gonna find out, like I don't even know this person well enough. And and I was freaking out while working. Like I was a cashier back then, so I was like ringing people up while shaking. My hands were shaking because I was so scared. And it turns out they didn't actually work at 2. They started at 2:30. They just decided to tell me that they started at 2. And when they came in at 2:30, it was the biggest relief ever. And I have a lot of moments like that now where I think somebody's dead or in an accident, and then they text me, and then like my heart is just like, oh my god, like this big weight has been lifted off my shoulders. And it's ridiculous how often this happens, and it's driving me up the wall because I cannot get a single night where I'm not panicking over that, and it sucks, and I want to die. The picture that I'm working on in this video, whether or not you're watching, because I know a majority of you guys don't actually watch, you just listen, which I still appreciate, by the way. Please don't think I'm, please keep continuing listening. Okay, anyways, but it doesn't have to necessarily do with that kind of anxiety, paranoia thing I have. It's more of me not being able to express my feelings in words. Because last night I went through this thing again with the thing, and and I can't figure out the words that I need to use in order to express my feelings. I'm in this weird spot where I can't tell if I'm happy or not. And I can usually tell. Like, if I'm in a bad place, I can usually be like, yeah, I'm not in the best place right now. I'm not doing so well. But right now, I can't even tell. I can't tell if I'm happy or I don't know. It's weird. And every time I try, because I daydream a lot, and I daydream about like, okay, what if I do actually seek out help? I go to like a therapist or whatever. What am I gonna say? And I try to like daydream about me seeing a therapist and like what I'm telling them, and I can't even figure out in my daydream what I'm supposed to say, because I don't know what I'm going through, and that's why I decided to draw this. And it's a very messy piece because I tried to make my art look kind of clean. I tried to make the line art clean and the coloring, and yeah, super clean. And this time, I was actually, when I first started drawing this, I was trying to make it clean. But the brush that I chose was really kind of hard to control, I guess, and it was just being messy and not very stabilized. And instead of trying or changing the brush or whatever, I was like, you know what? This is pretty much how I feel anyways. Like, my thoughts and everything is everywhere, so I just might as well roll with it. And so that's why the line art is super messy, the coloring is super messy. I did a bunch of squiggles for things, so like the tears, I'm pretty sure I might have gotten to that part, or just kind of like balls of squiggles, and just it's just all over the place. And that's pretty much kind of how I feel. I'm not trying to be deep or edgy right now. That's just kind of how I feel like my words feel. I can't figure out how to express myself. And then even this picture, when I finished it, I looked at it and I'm like, I like it, but I still don't feel like it correctly. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel. I don't feel at all like I accomplished, like I got to my point. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just feel like the picture didn't portray how I felt enough, I guess. I'm just in a really confusing place right now. Very confusing. But I'm still kind of happy. I'm happy like 68% of the time. I'm stressed out a majority of the time. And I'm upset I'm upset a lot. Usually at nighttime though, because nighttime is the time that gets me. And I work best at nighttime. I can hardly draw. Like every time I draw, it's 99% of the time it's during the night. Or early morning, like 3 a.m. This picture, I started this picture like at 3 a.m. or something like that, so it was not a good time. But yeah, it sucks being up at late. It sucks being up so late because even though that's the best time for me to work on stuff, it is also the worst time for my mental stuff. And I get sad and upsetty. But yep, that's pretty much all I want to talk about. This video is getting too long and I don't even know what it's supposed to be about. But I just kind of wanted to make this video to be real with you guys and to show that, hey, listen, I get that I try to be overly optimistic all the time to the point where it bugs a lot of people. And I was gonna say I apologize, but honestly, I'm not gonna apologize for that. Like, I try to be overly optimistic to kind of like fake it till you make it. That's kind of my whole motto thing for a lot of my stuff. Fake it till you make it. If I try super hard to be happy, eventually it does kind of help a little bit. I'd rather be overly optimistic than just super just a downer and pessimistic. You know, that's not what I want to be at all. I've been that, and it's not fun. But yeah, this is just a real talk, and hopefully, or not hopefully, because I don't want other people to feel this way, but I know there's no chance that nobody else feels this way. So to those of you who do feel like this or have other kind of problems, I guess, just letting you know that you're not alone, and you can make it through this, and I can make it through this, and we're all gonna be good, and everything's gonna work out eventually, probably. Okay, I better end this video. So thank you so much for watching. Please be good outlets for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Also, again, in the comments, let me know about your situations. I would love to read. I love to read your comments, by the way. So thank you so much for leaving comments. I really appreciate it. Okay, peace out, guys. Mwah!